clown world, a description of a real-world circumstance that is so insane, illogical, and utterly unbelievable that any sane person must come to the conclusion that the world we inhabit is some sort of funhouse, wacky mere mental institution run by clowns. Imagine that you went back in time about 75 years and showed our current timeline to the men who fought in World War II. How many of them do you think would actually continue the fight and not utterly thrown down their arms, and will not stare in utter disbelief of what a nightmare the West has become? The American men who fought that war, their beliefs would have been considered bigoted and hateful by today's current Democratic Party. If these men had this knowledge of what was to come, and how many of them would actually have fought. Some of them would have surely laughed and called you a madman for describing our current times. Any sane man of that age would have never thought that such things could ever occur, that we never allow our society to slide into such degeneracy. You begin to tell the men of that age of all the horrors of our time. You tell them of the boys being turned into girls via hormone therapy, 79 trillion genders, how defending your border makes you a racist, forced ethnical replacement by the United Nations, the sexual liberation of women and men, freedom of speech, but only under certain circumstances, so long as you don't offend anyone. Boys growing up without a father figure who wander aimlessly will never have the chance to become fathers themselves or truly know what a real man is. And they are shamed by a feminist agenda in almost all parts of our society. Our country's history that is slowly being erased because it does not conform to the New World Order's history. Your right to bear only a musket because that was the only weapon around at that time when it was written. Being comfortable becoming a minority in your own home country, or else you're a racist. Allow millions of military-age males into your country claiming they're asylum seekers. If you dare speak out, your right to freedom of speech is stripped away, and you are exiled socially. Your government aiding illegals and ignoring their own men on the streets who they had used to fight their wars for them. As you explain to these bewildered men of old, you can't help but stop yourself from laughing at just how ludicrous the whole idea of all this might sound to these men. You wish it were a bad joke, that there was a punchline, but there isn't. For some strange reason, you think back to a story you were told as a child about a certain man made an appointment to see a psychologist. He arrived at the psychologist's office and said to him, "Doctor, I always feel depressed. No matter what I do, I still feel depressed. I just don't know what to do." The psychologist looked at him and said, "Come with me to the window." The man followed, and then the psychologist pointed outside and said, "Do you see that tent out there in the distance? Well, there's a circus in town, and it's really good. There are lots of acts to watch, especially the clown acts, and there's one clown in particular who is extremely funny. He will make you rock with laughter over and over again. Go and see that clown, and I guarantee that you will not have a reason to be depressed again." The man turned to the psychologist with sad eyes and said, "Doctor, I am the clown." Maybe in a twist of fate, you had ended up as a punchline for a bad joke, that maybe we just live in a clown world, and you were forced onto the carousel of insanity, and on this clown ride, there is no getting off.